The content provided in this podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended for a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your doctor or other qualified health professionals with any questions you may have regarding your medical condition. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have heard on this podcast. Welcome to our first episode of Life on the Level. Today we'll be hearing some shocking things that people with type 1 diabetes hear on a daily basis. We're your hosts, Isabella McGee and Sebastian Harris. This is Life on the Level. If you're listening, you probably have or know someone with type 1 diabetes. We're here to give you the knowledge and encouragement so you can thrive. Join us as we dive into all things type 1, real experiences, expert insights, and practical strategies. Hello, and thank you for joining us on our first episode of Life on the Level. There's a balance of physical and mental well-being needed to manage diabetes.
So we're here to support you in finding that balance and navigating the ups or downs, or highs and lows, if you will, of life with diabetes.
My name is Isabella.
And my name's Sebastian.
I was diagnosed in 2009 when I was 11 years old with type 1 diabetes. My biggest fears were blood and needles out of all things. And I think one of the main things that has irritated me on my journey with this illness is the lack of knowledge and also the sense of feeling quite alone.
I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes in middle school, and I was kind of in this stage of denial thinking it can't be me. And there was so much knowledge I needed to know. And I just kind of was in this stump of like, what do I do? How do I manage that?
So to start off our podcast series, we've gathered some things that people within the type 1 community have heard from the general public. And I think that we hear this stuff all the time. Yeah, and people say quite insensitive things sometimes, and they just don't get it. And I think we often downplay how serious and uneducated sometimes some of these comments come across.
Yeah, because it's all the time.
Let's go through them.
Yucky experience with a guidance counsellor who was comparing me and another type 1 diabetic at the school, and she had to rate how much our conditions impacted our ATAR, basically, because that was the system at the time. And she kind of allocated the other person with diabetes a worse score than me because she'd had more hospital admissions, and so she felt that therefore her condition impacted her more than it impacted me, even though we had the same condition.
What a thing to keep score on.
How many hospital admissions have you had? That's how serious your illness is.
It's like a checklist almost.
I feel a guidance counsellor that's not their profession. They're not a medical professional. They shouldn't be able to judge those sorts of things.
Yeah, and when you submit something to get help for a condition like diabetes, it's not something like...
You shouldn't be impaired.
Yeah, it's not how severe. It's like not how many times you've done it, but it's just, do you have the conditions? Here's some things to keep you...
How does it impact you? Yeah.
I just turned 16 at the time and was on my second or third date with a girl who had no reason to suspect that I was diabetic. Beyond all the normal dating nerves, I remember being very self-conscious about my diabetes. Not necessarily that I didn't want her to know I had diabetes, but that I didn't want her to notice things like the pump cord coming out of my pocket, or for me to have to explain why I needed to stop the juice. I'd managed to avoid all those anxious thoughts up until we hugged to say goodbye, when I could tell that she'd felt the pump in my front pocket. I panicked and almost immediately started apologising, explaining I was diabetic, and distinctly remember asking her, "Is that okay?" She simply replied, "Of course, that's part of you and I like you." It's a corny line, no doubt, but what's even more corny is that her acceptance of my diabetes was more important than hearing that she liked me.
Wow.
That may well sound stupid, even to many diabetics who've experienced similar anxieties and self-consciousness in the past, but it wasn't for me in that moment, nor is it now.
It's very wholesome, isn't it?
For me, the second thing after my name is that I have diabetes.
It's like a title.
It's not a title.
Not a title.
It's not a title. It's not who I am. I'm not defined by my illness. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
It's more just it's something that I feel so strongly about that they need to understand and that they're willing to understand and help me through that. And I think that some people, whether they've got their own illnesses going on, they just mentally can't deal with that, and that's okay. But that's a big thing for me. I I don't know if you can speak on this as a male maybe, but for me I would never hide my illness from anyone.
Yeah, so I know that as a guy and as also someone with diabetes, the whole thing is you want to come across as a strong, confident person.
Oh my gosh, true.
But obviously, if you have a condition like that, it's a very clear reminder that, like, yes, I have a weakness. And the whole thing of trying to keep a facade and an appearance, and it's like, although it's great for some to openly admit it, some people, I mean, even including myself, are extremely anxious to even bring it up or talk about it because people start to ask questions.
I've never thought about it like that because I guess as a female, I don't have to be the strong caretaker, whatever you will. That's just something I've never, like a perspective I've never even thought of. And I know like a lot of men, now that I think about it, do hide their illness. And I've never understood why, but that makes so much sense because you feel, is it like emasculating almost, or like how would you describe it?
It's not really emasculating. It's just something that's more like it's there and I'm very aware of it. And it's like, it's just those questions of like, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? And as a guy, it can be super overwhelming. It's like, I just want to be here for a date. I don't want to be here for like a little conference lecture session.
Oh, I'm happy to conference and lecture, but I'll talk about anything. Yeah, no, fair enough. Okay, well, let's see the next one.
I got told that I needed to be jabbed by an EpiPen when I was having a hypo.
It's going to give you something. It's probably not going to give you what you need.
They tried?
Yeah. I mean, they're very similar. Obviously, you could mix them up.
I feel like if you don't know, this is like a big thing for me. If you are unaware, don't pretend that you know or don't try to understand.
Yes.
Just call an ambulance. If you're in a situation and you see someone who needs help and you don't understand the illness, just call 000 because that's like the best case scenario is they're going to go, you didn't need us. Like, cool. Just safety over that. Just don't pretend you know everything.
Yeah, spot on.
Yeah.
So I had an employer when I was younger.
Here we go.
Pull me aside and basically corner me and say, you need to have your diabetes under control because we don't want to have any problems here. And I was a bit taken aback by that. And it was all because I said the night before on shift that I had had a chocolate bar while working to keep myself in check because I'd had a hypo. And it was quite confrontational, almost like I was viewed as a problem or a liability. It's a bit weird.
Again, on the uneducated thing.
Yeah. I mean, how dare you, like...
Corner them?
Yeah. But I mean, I've
Fix
also...
your illness.
Yeah, I've also had a similar thing though where I've like, you're not supposed to have your phones when you're working, but I had it in my pocket and I was looking at it to check my like Dexcom was still working, and they're like, what is that? And then it got to such an extreme level where it was like, you can't work these days because we're doing this. Like it's not something that's like a one-off thing. Like it's actually, I've heard similar stories of stuff like this all the time.
I just think like, for me especially, I've always been scared to tell employers about my illness and about, you know, what it involves because people do assume the worst, and if they don't understand the illness, they get quite funny about it and they think that you are a liability, and it's stressful. It's like what discrimination against, and then you're like, oh, you didn't get the job, and you go, great, was that because I have diabetes and they didn't understand the illness?
You start to second guess yourself.
Yeah,
like,
you
am
do.
I fit for it even though I have this?
Yeah, it's like I am fit for it, but then they sort of do things that make you feel like you're not.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and if you had a problem with them having a chocolate bar, then just ask. Just ask, like, what's going on? Like, how can we help you? How can we support you? Rather than just assuming that they're doing something that's wrong for their health.
Yeah, they're not doing anything shifty. It's nothing bad. It's just, I'm a bit low, so I need a bit of sugar.
Yeah. Anyway.
I'm a newly diagnosed type 1 diabetic, and here are some of the things that I hear from the general public. Firstly, you've obviously had too much sugar, and that's the reason why you've got type 1 diabetes. But on the polar opposite side of that, you're eating too much sugar, and that's the reason why you have diabetes.
It's really funny to hear these from someone who's just been diagnosed because, like, I could get a bingo card, right? Heard that one, heard that one, tick it off. But, like, for him to be so shocked that these are things that he's hearing, I forgot that's not normal to be commented.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like you hear it so often and you kind of just forget that it's like an insult thing. It's almost like, oh,
another one of those.
Another one.
Yeah. Take it off the bingo. Yeah.
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 You know, there's a cure for diabetes, just eating less sugar.
Or cinnamon, apparently.
Cinnamon?
You haven't had that one yet. People have been like, why don't you just eat more cinnamon?
Oh, if that was the case, I'd be eating cinnamon all day, honestly.
Cinnamon donuts. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that's healthy and going to help.
Just sugar-free ones. Don't even be silly.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
I had an ex-boyfriend who, when I'd asked if he wanted to attend one of my diabetic educator appointments, he was a nurse at the time and he was asking whether or not he could put it towards his professional development as a nurse rather than actually caring about learning about the disease.
He can stay outside for all I care. That's mental.
Props to him on his career development, I guess.
I know, stay strong, but come on.
Yeah, especially as like a nurse to overlook that the patient care is a big aspect of that.
Yes.
He would not be my boyfriend after that. That'd be it. One and done.
I got told that I had to stop playing water polo because my coach was scared I'd infect the water with my diabetes.
Oh my God. Have you ever been told that, like, asked if you're contagious?
Yeah.
Oh, it is the worst. Like, people jump back. You're like, oh, I'm diabetic. They jump back from you. Infect the water. That is not on my bingo card, that one.
But that does sound like a pretty good film, though. Imagine just like...
It's a horror film, isn't it? It's like zombies sort of infect the water with your diabetes.
Yeah. I mean, it's already horrific enough being a diabetic.
That's
but
trademark, guys. Don't be stealing that.
Yeah, that's a movie in the waiting.
So I got told at a class party, shouldn't you be fatter and should you be eating this food? First of all, I was taken a bit aback because no one had ever said that to me before. And I was like, well, actually, as a diabetic, I can eat anything I want. And second of all, diabetes isn't related to being fat. Like, it was just a big moment where I'm like, oh my gosh. So I explained to them like how you get type 1 diabetes, how your pancreas doesn't work. And they were shocked that that's actually what diabetes was, because in their minds, diabetics were fat. So it was definitely a what the heck moment, but I'm glad I got to educate people after it.
Shouldn't you be fatter?
I mean, like, yeah.
I've got that. I've got like the, but you're not fat.
Yeah. But can I just say, when my brother, who was diagnosed before I was with type 1 diabetes, our literal first thought, and I'll be open and admit this, was, but he's not fat. Like, it's not just
you didn't know better, right?
Yeah, it's just, people don't know it properly and they're not educated enough. So obviously that's going to be your first thought.
I know, but it's crazy that like in 2024, there's still not enough education. Like, people still don't understand that they're completely different diseases. Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, well, you hear so much about be healthy and like, especially with the like other type 2 diabetes medication stuff. It's like you think you'd be more aware of it.
Yeah. Oh, well.
I get told all the time that it's not fair how I get to sit out of sport and eat lollies when I'm low when everyone else has to keep playing.
You know what's not fair?
Here we go.
Here we damn go. The fact that sport for me, as someone with diabetes, is more difficult than someone without it. That's what's not fair.
You just have to be constantly aware of it.
I don't want to sit out and stuff jelly beans in my face while I'm exercising. I want to be playing on the court with everyone else. Like, I don't want to be singled out like that. That's not an advantage.
Yeah, it's not something that's like, oh, you're cool, you get to eat lollies on the side and skip sport.
Let's have a break. No. I'm dying.
I'm dying.
I'm literally dying.
Yeah, definitely better things I'd prefer.
I bought a bunch of sugar-free soft drinks to an event for like a party thing, and my friend drank the majority of them, and when there were none left for me, and I kind of half confronted, like jokingly, she said like, oh, you don't really need them, you could just give insulin and have a full sugar soft drink, whereas she didn't really have any health conditions that would mean she'd have to drink them other than for diet reasons.
I mean, it's a two-edged sword, isn't it?
The fact that like she didn't understand that giving insulin still meant that it would play around with her blood sugars. Like, you can give, I hate when people say that, like, just give insulin for it. It's not that easy. Like, it will affect my blood sugars. I have to factor in so many other things. It's a lot easier for me to just have a sugar-free drink that I don't necessarily have to factor in.
Yeah.
Oh, that's frustrating.
I mean, also the other thing you have to consider is like when you're injecting physically, it's like you can only inject in intervals. Like you can't just do it right after the other thing. So you can't have like some snacks over here and then go, oh, I want a soft drink like 10 minutes later and then go, but I've injected.
Yeah, you've got to wait now. I feel like that's with everything though, because if you bring something to a party and you've brought them, it's like alcohol drinks. When people bring alcoholic drinks to a party, that's their alcoholic drinks.
Yeah.
Like you don't just take them off someone. Yeah. But then to take the drinks off someone when you know that they've brought them especially because of their diabetes, that's insane.
It's just mental the thought of like physically needing to put like a name tag on it, like property of, just so people are aware of it.
I will die if have this.
Yeah.
Do not touch.
Yeah.
And those are just a few of the many things that people with type 1 diabetes hear all the time. And there's a quote that I found, personally, I found it quite relatable that I think you also might relate to. I thought I'd share it with you. Somewhere in the world, it's 2 a.m. and while everyone else is asleep, there's someone with diabetes dealing with their blood glucose levels.
Yeah, because it's a 25-hour job, 8 days a week. It is not just every hour of the day. It is how you're going to feel in the next few days coming up after all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And the amount of times you wake up early in the morning to deal with things, there's got to be at least someone awake every minute dealing with diabetes in some way, shape or form.
I haven't had a good night's sleep in a while.
No, neither. I mean, last night wasn't great either.
Oh, good. Yeah, great. Love that.
Remember, we love hearing from you. Your stories and perspectives make Life on the Level a true community. So why not share your thoughts and experiences with us by emailing us at youth@diabetesaustralia.com.au. Feel free to send us your own voicemail or email.
Let's keep this conversation going and make our community even stronger.
And that's a wrap on the first episode of Life on the Level. Stay tuned as we deal with other issues such as mental health, exercise, and even relationships. As we wrap up another episode of Life on the Level, we want to thank you for being part of the supportive community. Your stories, questions, and just being here fuel our mission to offer meaningful support and education to people living with diabetes. Keep the conversation going, stay connected, and remember, together, we're stronger. Don't forget to follow the show to hear more wherever you listen to your podcasts.
This podcast is brought to you by the National Diabetes Services Scheme. The NDSS is an initiative of the Australian Government and is administered by Diabetes Australia.
Diabetes Australia acknowledges Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples as the traditional owners and custodians of this country. We pay the utmost respect to them, their cultures, and to their elders, past and present. We extend that respect to the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here today. Diabetes Australia is committed to improving health outcomes for all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people affected by diabetes and those at risk.